positive mindset, just because that was probably one of the main things that I noticed stood out by him.
Oh, for real? Damn, dude, I'm doing good.
Dude.
Okay, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a good mindset. You're always in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's nice to like, it's refreshing to be around people like that.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
It makes our day much easier.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way, but
Oh, really?
yeah, for sure. I don't know what happened. I think I just like shit started going real well. And I was like, fuck yeah. You know, like after a while, you're just like, cool. This is, you know what? This shit kind of slaps.
It is kind of funny when things switch over like that, because I feel like, when you're in like survival mode, you just like, you're in whatever mindset you're in just to like get through to the next day and stay alive, and just you feel like you're constantly, under siege.
Yeah.
And it like kind of makes you it makes you like be reactionary towards the world. And and then I noticed too in myself, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I feel like I did so much of that I wasn't really even like giving much back to people or things at some point, and that at some point made me realize that I was like, this isn't how you're brought up. This isn't how you were supposed to be, that's not why you're here.
It kind of like reinforces itself. Like you can kind of just go into a hole.
Yeah.
And that hole blocks you off from
everything
and like everyone. And so you stop like contributing as much, because not because you're like a worse person or anything like that. It's just you're having so much trouble getting out of the headspace that you're already in.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow for like anything else to come in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a dark void that just absorbs all the light,
Yeah.
I feel like with like basic humanity, people go through those kind of phases in life often and not frequently, but often, like as they age and stuff like that. Like I feel like I was going through one the last few years where I was like not myself, and I'm like, I have to like get back to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like motivated, like doing things, having fun, but it was dark. Like winter's always like rough for me because I have like whatever seasonal depression.
Yeah.
And I kind of go in this like lull, and then when the sun starts coming out, I'm kind of like, oh, life is good again.
Yeah. Like actually shit slaps once you get back to the
100%
sunshine. Yeah.
What kind of things happened in your life that were sort of like, I don't mean like good enough, but like were positive enough or made you realize that things were going well, that made you sort of shift over? And then, what kind of things do you feel like happened from you changing your mindset to like thereafter? Maybe not even like career wise or like financially or anything, but like, cause I've noticed tons of shifts with myself, beyond just like, when you're younger, like you want to have a degree or you want to have like some sort of resume status or something.
Yeah, sure.
Or you want to have money just to not worry about bills.
Yeah.
Whatever. Then you get to that point and then you start realizing there's like bigger picture shit that you want to have. That's not those like, I don't know, lack of better words, like accolades is a bad word, but you know what I mean? Like more important life shit. But what kind of things happened like that made you feel like you arrived to that spot?
You know what's funny? Looking back on it now, it all kind of started when I started working out. the first time, right?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like all that confident in myself growing up and stuff like that. And I'm from like a small town where there's like not a lot of black people. So I kind of always thought, this is so weird because I'm like so hot, dude. But like I thought I was like not that good looking or like all kinds of these, thoughts and everything. And, now, I mean, you approach me to do this podcast because you're like, I'm the hottest guy in the gym and you need me to be here to,
I think you took most positive.
Yeah, no, I think
I like that.
You are a good looking.
Hey, you're the hottest guy in the gym. You're the strongest person we've ever had come through here by far. Will you please do the podcast?
I love that for you.
Me too, dude. It's very sick. It's a huge burden, but I mean, like, honestly, I
heavy weight to carry.
Oh yeah, big time. But luckily, I'm the strongest guy here, so I can do it. But no, here's what happened though, dude. I was in college, and like, I had never really done any kind of working out or anything like that. And I think, I was kind of depressed and like undiagnosed, but I was definitely depressed. I was kind of withdrawn from people socially. Yeah. But I've always been a little bit of a shit. And like I've always had a really good sense of humor, and I've always like gotten along with most people.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was doing this. Do you remember like Tim Ferriss?
Why is that name?
Like the 4-Hour Body. He did the book, The 4-Hour Work Week and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that
was
like,
that
was really big. Like when we were in college, or when I was in college and stuff. And my friend, who's a doctor now, shout out to you, Chuck. He was doing the resume builders that you got to do to get into med school and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to start a health club based on the 4-Hour Body, and wanted to do the diets in it. And I just decided he wanted me to do it with him. And I was like, you know what? I'll do this diet, and we'll just do this one workout a week. And then I started to look better.
Mm-hmm.
And like, when you start working out and stuff, you start kind of checking yourself out a little bit in the mirror. You're like, you start feeling yourself a little bit. You're like, oh, damn. Like, what is that? A trapezoid? What is that? Is that my rhombus is really looking pectoral today, Like, you be looking at it and like, like stuff starts popping, and then that kind of snowballs as you're just doing stuff. Like I lost a bunch of weight, I got in pretty good shape, and then like I started getting more interest from the ladies, and that was cool.
It's reinforcing.
That was reinforcing, and like then your mood is just generally better too.
Yeah.
And I already had, since I was, grew up like not like a loner, but when you kind of feel like you don't fit in, you get like a bunch of weird interests. It's probably why you have so many bands that you like that no one's ever heard of, but they're awesome.
Absolutely.
But that's why your taste in music is so good, right? You kind of you lock in, you learn about this stuff. And now on top of the like you're physically healthier, you're kind of cool because you got these like interests and stuff. Like if you're talking to people, whatever, there's stuff you can talk about. There's like, passions that you can just kind of go towards and like, explore, and it kind of just keeps snowballing. So that snowballed pretty well. Basically took me through law school, and then like, I don't know, man. Now it's just, especially now that I'm like adult aged, and I feel like stuff's going pretty well right now. And I think you just got to learn that everything has a season.
Yeah. That's true.
Just like seasonal depression in the winter or whatever. Yeah. It's like, that's life in general. And when it's summer out in your life, you just, enjoy the sun. That's what I'm trying to do. And I know everyone talks about like, are you allowed to curse on this or no?
Yeah.
Like fucking gratitude and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's some truth to that,
I agree.
I'm just really grateful for the way stuff's going.
No, and it makes sense. Like there's a couple things that stood out to me that you said, and one was that like it's kind of ironic how early on in your life, or at different periods in your life, a lot of your like flaws, right?
Yeah.
That make you this or that, or like make you maybe not as favorable, or you might not fit in this little group, or you might go through some punishment for months, years, or even like a decade or two, until the things that make you suck are what makes you special, right? Or not special, but like different and unique.
Yeah.
And there's been so many instances in my life where I've noticed that.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of just learned to deal with those periods of time and have patience with it, and be like, I know that this sucks right now, but as long as I'm not harming anyone or doing anything wrong, just let it pass, because this is you, dude. Like this is like what makes you different from everyone else.
Yeah, being a weird little guy is kind of awesome, dude.
Yeah,
like being just, it is sick, because I don't know, it's just more interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And then the other thing that stood out to me too is that you were talking about when you first start working out, you start to like pay attention to things that you wouldn't pay attention to otherwise. So because what happens, like you start putting this work in, and then just subconsciously you start to wonder what is coming from it. Like when I first started like working out, I thought I was lifting weights. I swear to God, this is the dumbest shit. But I thought that lifting was running a mile, doing sit-ups, and then running another mile. That's what I thought lifting was for about like 8 months.
It's pretty good.
And I would literally...
Wait a minute, that's not what it is?
No. Dude,
Hold on, what have I been doing here?
I was like 15, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I literally...
Damn, that's good though.
I would just look at my abs and see if my abs were getting better every day.
Dude,
after doing that.
What is up with being a 15-year-old boy and really wanting abs so bad? Like, what was up with that? The whole time I'm doing like sit-ups, every time I got... This is how fucking lame I am. every time I got a role in a musical, I'm like, I have to have abs by the time the musical starts. Never had them. Not one time. It never worked because I was probably, I didn't know what I was doing.
Is it someone gonna like inspect that or like look at your outfit?
Right.
Like, dude.
Or like a 15-year-old doing a shirtless scene in a High School Musical.
Yeah.
Like, well, are you trying to be a sex symbol or something right now? If you're trying to be a sex symbol at 15 in a musical in a small town, you have other problems, I think.
Speaking of small town, too, where did you grow up at?
It's a real small town. Robinson, Illinois.
Where's that at?
It's, it's like 45 minutes away from Terre Haute, Indiana. Do you know where that is?
That's far south.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
Terre Haute's the tip of southern Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's probably not Carbondale, but it's towards Carbondale?
It's towards Carbondale, and it's kind of like, you still got a little bit of ways to go south to Carbondale. I think it's like an hour or two.
Yeah.
Is it more east than Carbondale?
It's way, more east.
So
it's like right on the
Terre
border.
Haute,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's on that border of the Indiana, Illinois border.
Is it like a rural town, or is it like more of a metro area?
I mean, we had
country.
Really?
Country, big country, soybeans, corn. We got Heath chocolate bars were invented there. So if you like Heath toffee, you're welcome. But
Heath's are pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, actually, that's like, I don't want to talk shit about Robinson, or if anyone from Robinson happens to hear this, they're gonna all in the YouTube comments, all in whatever it's gonna be in. Like, our town is a good town. We're good folk down here. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're fine. But 7,000-ish people.
Gotcha.
That's small.
Which it sounds bigger than it is, but we have like there's like an oil refinery down there, and then like a chocolate factory and stuff. So there's a little bit of industry, but like high school class was like 300 some odd people.
Yeah.
It was an experience. I'll say that. I mean, you grew up somewhere similar, right?
Yeah, I grew up in a really small town outside of a metro area. So I might have been like I think my hometown now has like 1,200 people in it.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was crazy when I got to 1,000, because like growing up, I was like 700, 800. That's like a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
But like outside of that, it's a bunch of cities that are all combined. So it's the Quad Cities.
Okay. Yeah.
And now it's like 8. The name doesn't even make sense anymore. But there's really like 8 cities that make it up. But I think that's why I kind of turned out to be the way that I am, because like my hometown, it's not that anyone doesn't ever leave. People leave all the time. They go all over the Quad Cities or whatever. But what I'm getting to is that like I think some people, and not just in my hometown, but like in a lot of small towns, you either embrace that entirely and just like tell yourself that you're just a small town country person, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like always wanted to sort of be both. So like I knew where I grew up. Like I grew up in a little cornfield, and like I knew what my family was like, and my friends and my environment, all that shit. But I always gravitated towards the Quad Cities, and like I always wanted to be downtown. Like I rode BMX growing up. I always rode street downtown, like finding rails.
Dude, sick, by the way.
Stairs and shit.
Dude, did you really do BMX? Like, no shit.
Yeah, I did it until I was about 25.
When it was like cool?
Yeah.
No way.
In the height of all that shit.
No
I'm surprised
way.
you still don't do that.
Yeah.
Dude, I would be doing that all the time if I had that skill.
Yeah, my best friend actually helped me put a bike together, and I have a brand new bike sitting in my house.
Oh, you
I
do?
haven't started riding it.
Like a BMX bike?
Yeah.
So, you do have one.
Yeah. So it's been in there for like 2 years.
I think I knew this a little. I think you've talked to me about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I grew up in that
so
era,
cool.
And there was a really well-known skate park in the area that everyone went to, and it was just super out of control because, it was like basically kids like watching over other kids. You know what I mean? There's older kids that were watching over the younger kids. And it was just chaos 24/7.
Yeah.
Stories that I can't mention on the podcast, just for privacy reasons, and or I'll just like getting myself in trouble. But so many crazy things happen at that skate park, and just in the cities I grew up in.
Do you need a lawyer? Is something wrong? What do you mean? How crazy are we talking about?
You're saying be quiet, right?
I was like, shut up, tell me.
But I think I always gravitated towards being in those rural and more metro areas versus the rural area. And that's what eventually led me to living in Chicago, I think, because that curiosity just kept leading me to be like, I want more of this. I want more of it.
Dude, it's that area Little Mermaid syndrome, man.
What's that?
I want to be where the people are.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't watch Disney movies growing up?
I did, but
Little Mermaid?
I mean, I watched it once.
Oh my God, dude.
Twice.
All right, I guess
I'm
the
sister.
We need to dive back into that shit.
I grew up on the south side, like in the south suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
And so I grew up in a town with like 50,000 people, which is relatively big, but it's like an ironworking town. And then I moved to Chicago, like the city, when I was like 21.
Okay. And you've been here since?
Yeah.
So,
I'm 46. I'm 45 now.
So you were already a human while we were little mermaids, just trying
Lawrence
to
was here, like,
get up here.
when I was like 24, you were here.
Yeah.
You moved here young.
Oh, no way. When did you move here?
I moved here right after college.
Okay.
Like 20, 21, right?
Yeah, I was like a little bit of a late bloomer with the college thing. So like when I finished high school, I was like, man, that's crazy that I graduated, right? Because it wasn't like a huge focus for me, my friends, and even my family, really. And it wasn't that we had an option of not doing school, but it just wasn't like
college you're talking about.
Even high school, it just wasn't.
Really?
It wasn't like the end all be all. You know, it was like go to it, pass. You know, like show up, make sure you get through it, and all that stuff. But it wasn't like the most important thing. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But funny enough, my parents were like, "You are going to college because we didn't go to college, and you're going." So they were dead set on that.
Mm-hmm.
But the first couple of years of college, I had to learn how to study because,
dude, that's like, real. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real.
Like,
yeah.
Because that was like the point where you just can't, you know, maybe some places, but you just can't skate through getting a 4-year degree, man. I mean,
you can't.
You can do it lazily, I think.
Well, nowadays I think you can.
Oh, really?
With all this chat GPT and everything now,
damn,
people just be like,
I missed out on that.
Write me an essay on the 15th century industrial blah 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 blah
revolution.
Maybe it's time to go back and get another degree.
Honestly,
or a master's.
Dude, I'm gonna get my Russia. Yeah, the industrial revolution of Russia, 15th century.
10 seconds later.
Yeah. Comes up. It's all bullshit, but it's you turn it in. Whatever. I got drinking to do. Dude.
It's like well written bullshit though.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, I had to learn how to study, and that took some time. And luckily, I ran into some good professors who like woke me up.
Same.
Yeah, and that was like life changing for me.
Yeah.
And really, what it was just they put things in a way that gave me perspective, and it took me out of the idea of like studying had to be this begrudging, like punishing, you know, annoying thing. And they basically just kind of got me to be like, have fun with it. You know, like enjoy it and see what you can make of it. Like be creative with answers or your homework or your like, you know, like whatever. And that really changed a lot for me, for sure.
Yeah.
But because of that, it took a long time for me to get to that point. So I definitely took longer to graduate. My 4-year degree was probably like 5.5.
Dude, that's good time. That's a good time.
Yeah. So I moved here
5.5. People are doing 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Lapping.
You look good, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, when I finally got done, I moved here. But I'd already been going to shows up here. I was driving up here for shows, driving up here to like go to the skate park.
Where were you going to college?
I went to St. Ambrose University.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a community school before that called Blackhawk.
Sick.
That was when,
Hell yeah. Blackhawk.
Yeah. And that's when I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. I just wanted to go to college because my parents were like, you got to go. And I was like, seems like a good idea. So, but when I finally graduated, I moved up here, and that, you know, obviously changed everything, just being in the city, because it can happen anywhere, I'm sure, but just the sheer abundance of people and the density of people.
Pretty sick.
There's so many people to be like inspired by or influenced by, or like if you pay attention to who's around you, like just the networking aspect, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not even like in a parasitical way. It's just that, like, I'm sure you would agree, but if you're just around long enough and you immerse yourself into people here, then, you know, you start getting opportunities. You start picking up chances.
Yeah.
Like even small things. I'm not talking about big stuff like a career, but just you learn traits, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that was pretty big for me to finally get here. And that's kind of when I met Matt, was like around 25 or 26 or something like that.
So y'all like old school homies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long y'all been friends in?
Over like 20 years.
Holy
yeah.
shit,
Well, coming up on 20, because I think I met him.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's wild, man.
We met at Crunch when we both worked at Crunch together.
What's Crunch?
It's a gym.
Oh, no way. Okay, cool.
Lawrence did sales, and I was like the personal training manager.
No way.
Yeah.
Tell him about Crunch, because like Crunch is a a pretty cool gym in the sense of what it was at the time. Because at the time, what Crunch did, I'll let Matt get to it, but what Crunch did is they essentially like spearheaded a lot of open-minded thinking and ways of doing things that other gyms had never ever messed with or even thought about. And I got lucky that that was the first gym that I got hired at. I didn't realize at the time. I was just like, oh yeah, I need some money. I heard commission's good. Like, let's hustle, dude. Let's start getting paid, you know? So that's why I worked there. But after I'd been there for a year or two, that's when I started realizing, I was like, oh, this is actually like the punk rock version of a corporate gym.
Yes.
And I was like, this is so perfect. Like, not only am I making money, but I'm around the right people.
Right.
Damn. I'll let you get into that.
Yeah. So Crunch, I worked at the location on Grand and Wabash. Lawrence, you didn't start there, right? You started at Orleans and then you were at Grand and Wabash?
No, I actually started at Grand and Wabash.
And then they transferred you.
Yeah. And it was awesome because I had a car, but couldn't afford parking. So every day was
relatable. Very relatable.
Yeah, every day was blue to red.
Yep.
You know, and then it was just that like Wild West shit on the blue line, red line.
It was
like
red
early
for me.
morning and late night. And the late night back was always wild.
Yeah. It was red for me because I lived in Lakeview at the time. And then I remember I'd have to be at work at like 6 a.m. So I'd have to wake up at like 4:30 to get on the train by 5. And I would often ride my bike down the Lakeshore Drive path to get there, like as much as I could.
That's cool.
And I probably did that like three times a week. I was like crazy when I was like 24 training, like 24 to 28. I was lifting every day. I was riding my bike everywhere.
Yeah, those are great years.
But Crunch, it was like going back to it. I remember when I first started, I think I was a member there before I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I think my first boyfriend in the city lived in the South Loop and he was a member there. So he would bring me with him when I was like hanging out with him. And I was like, oh, this gym's so cool. And then we broke up at some point, and then I was still living in the suburbs and I was like, I need to get to the city. So like I was working construction at the Chicago Heights Park District where I worked because I worked there in the summers during college. And then after college, or after I took a break from college, I just worked there full time. It was good money. It was easy. So I was doing that and then going to community college. And then, you know, I was like coming out as gay, and that was like hard for me because I grew up like in the south side of Chicago where there's no gay people.
Yeah.
Like 0, 20, like.
Yeah, they actually don't exist like, in the south side of Chicago.
Like, I mean, they do.
Population is 0.
Nope, not according to them. They don't exist down there.
You talked to them.
They said absolutely not.
Yeah. So like that was rough for me. So I was like, I need to be in the city where it's like, there's people that are like me.
Yeah.
So I was like,
60% of the population is gay.
I was like, I like working out. I mean, pretty much.
It's a pretty gay city, like in the best way possible.
No, it really is.
Kind of sick.
It really is. But it was strange because I was like, I have to be in the city around people like me because like I don't know how people here are going to react if I come out.
Yeah.
So I lived in this fear mindset for a long time, which kind of sucked. Actually, it sucked.
Just kind of?
It sucked.
It sucked.
Just kind of. Yeah. I mean, like, you remove that.
I mean,
it kind of sucked.
Kind of sucked.
It sucked. So anyway, going back to Crunch, I was like, I need to get a job. I like working out, so I'm going to try to be a trainer and I'll apply at Crunch. I got hired. And I was like, oh, this gym's so cool. It was cool because it had bright colors. There was like crazy louder music playing. It was just like the people worked there were kind of just like kind of misfits.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, but like people that I worked with had very strong personalities, and I kind of gravitate towards that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was good. And then I progressed rapidly. Like I was a trainer, then I was like a training manager, like in 2 years or a year and a half or something. And it was stressful. I mean, I was young and I was working 60 to 70 hours a week.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never understood about personal trainers is they seem to have the most intense schedules. Like,
yeah. Go at 6 because you have like shifts. You work morning and night shifts.
That makes sense.
Like now though, I've created my, Lawrence and I have been doing this so long, we kind of could work when we want to.
Yeah.
Or like we're morning people and
Right.
we don't work really late at night. But
Sick.
when we were younger, it was like 5 a.m. till like 11 or 12.
You take whatever.
It's a hustle, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a hustle.
Whenever your clients are available, whenever you can get it in.
And I remember there was
building up.
times where I've trained like over 200 hours a month. And I know you have too. Me and him used to, when we worked at Hero together, we would have competitions who could train more.
That's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
And 200 hours a month, like I used to be a corporate lawyer, and billing 200 hours in a month is an insane amount.
Yeah.
It was
that's a heavy month.
But also like going back to that, like remember we weren't getting paid what we were charging. Like I remember before the housing crisis, I was charging $180 a session. People just paid it like that.
Damn.
No questions asked. But I only made like $67 from it.
Yeah.
That's the way the gym structure is set up.
Yeah.
You never trained at Crunch, right?
No, I didn't. So
you just did sales.
Yeah, I did sales. And I left for a little bit when Crunch transitioned to FFC.
Yeah.
They became FFC?
Yes, they did.
Oh, no way.
FFC was already existing, but FFC bought, I think, several of the locations of Crunch in the city.
Huh.
And then there was other Crunches that just closed because they had some restructuring, type of thing.
The restructuring was like, I hated it because it literally put me in a position where, I'm not going to name names, but it put me in a position where
name them. Name them. This is a call out.
I was making good money for being 28 years old.
Yeah.
And they're restructuring because like they're not making money. They're hiring people from like Starbucks to do like restructuring, and it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, that's always a bad sign.
And then what they did is they took all the personal training managers, and they said, we're going to offer your assistant managers half your salary.
Cool.
Or you have to take a cut.
Yeah, no, just
and
let
I was
them
like,
take
go
it.
fuck yourself.
No, just let them rob you, dude.
But that's what I said. I was like, all the hard work I put into this place, like I was really upset because I was like, I put so much work into this place.
Yeah.
And I dedicated like everything to it.
Yeah.
And like I was crying because I was just like, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, all right, well, time to go. So I got transferred to the Northern Sheffield location because it was like the flagship.
Yeah.
And I could just train people there without like management.
Right.
Did that, and that was my way out of like working for corporate gyms.
So did you all when you opened? I mean, how long's Rockwell been open now, man?
I started Rockwell in 2014.
Okay. Also, just quick shout out to Matt's ex-boyfriend for making this all come together in a weird kind of way.
Because of the crunch?
Because of the crunch. Now you got a friend. You got a 20-year plus friend.
Dude, literally everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer of that. And it shifts, and the littlest thing move your life into the weirdest direction.
100%.
So
and the Matt's ex-boyfriend, shout out to you.
I don't know that guy, though, because I wouldn't know Matt.
Honestly, on some
no,
real
it's true.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
There was one thing that
is crazy.
Oh, you're talking about the when you opened the gym in
yeah, there was something else too. But so 2014 is when I started Rockwell. And not in this location. It was like in this dungeon, literally dungeon
the dungeon
on Rockwell and Belmont, in a basement in an old factory building that was no longer a factory, but
kind of sick though. Honestly,
it's like the best origin story.
If I'm gonna go lift heavy weights, I want there to be a literal fucking furnace behind me. Yeah, and some guy just with a hammer on a
there was
pipe.
coal chutes down there.
There was coal chutes on the walls that they hadn't taken the coal out of the coal.
Hell
chute.
Yeah!
So our first treadmill was actually in front of one of the coal chutes, and we literally just ran in front of just breathing in coal.
You're just taking the coal.
It was sick, dude.
Putting it under your eyes, breathing in.
And it was great because all of the people above us were band practice spaces. So we could be as loud as we wanted to, whatever, didn't matter. And there was also no heat or AC. So the temperature fluctuated depending on what was going on, but it never got unbearable.
Yeah.
But it was either cold or hot. But not too cold or too hot. It was just enough to get the lifting done, And it was kind of perfect. And I think that's what actually developed my mindset a lot about what this place is going to be because of that environmental aspect.
For
Like,
sure.
I didn't plan it to be that way, but because of the environment we had, I was like, well, you work with what you got. You don't complain, you know, you get the work done. And not only do you get the work done, but you excel at it, even though conditions are less than ideal. And man, that shaped the fuck out of me, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's still today, I feel like, every day. So that was where it originally started. And Matt and I were working at a private studio in Lincoln Park together.
Oh, word.
Independently. Matt actually was the one that suggested me to go there after I worked for some smaller gyms as a trainer first, just to get my feet wet.
Right.
And, you know, crushed it there, and I needed a next step. And I reached out to Matt to ask him, like, hey, like, you know, where does someone go if they want to be a better trainer? If they want to, you know, I was looking for like a referral to another corporate gym. Matt was like, skip all that, just come here and just be an independent trainer. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, because there's other people that I consulted about that, other trainers or people in the industry that I did. And they had all told me, it was like the classic story, people telling you not to do shit, or to like, you got to wait and stuff.
100%.
And I don't think they did it on purpose. I think that was just what they had told themselves.
Yeah.
So like, no, dude, you got to be a trainer for at least like 5 years or maybe 10 years before you go independent. And I talked to Matt, and Matt was like, dude, absolutely not. He's like, get over here now. It's going to be awesome. We'll hang out.
Sick.
And that's literally what it was. And then, you know, my book, I mean, only got better when I got there. And
yeah, you had a good book from your previous gym.
Yeah, so a lot of people came with. And
I mean, it's scary at first.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like the first year I thought was pretty rough, but then I figured it out after that.
Yeah,
you know?
It was an adjustment period, but
yeah,
it was nice.
With like working out, when like, I know I can be a flake with it, you know. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm too tired, or I don't want to train.
Yeah.
So it's like you're constantly got to keep your books running.
You got to go on 24/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was nice. And so after being there for like 5 or so years, there was just some things that just weren't conducive to working out the way that we wanted to work out, that were in that environment. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that place. It's just that with a lot of private studios and like boutiques and things like that, a lot of times it can be ran more as a business versus a place where people are there to improve, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So we just started noticing XYZ, this and that, and I started taking notes of things that I didn't like about that. And that's what actually helped me put together the entire business model. But the first place wasn't even really supposed to be a business. It was just literally, I just wanted a place to train hard.
Yeah.
I wanted the music to be loud, people to be crazy. I just wanted that environment,
which we didn't have at the other place.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of like
some of that like carryover from Crunch.
Yeah, like that,
or even like carryover from.
I feel like in Crunch you could do that.
Though. Yeah, you could. It was like,
I feel like Crunch was like not afraid to push limits.
Yeah.
They liked like the
punk rock,
aggressive, like pushing loud. Like,
So even though that they made, you know, mistakes on like, you know, restructuring and like the business finance side of it, like obviously, you know, a lot of places do that. But one thing they did excel at was like, Matt was right, like the lighting was weird. It was also dark in there.
It was dark, and it was all, they had so many bright colors and weird, like,
I would love to like,
moody.
Yeah, it was moody.
I would love to just full goth makeup, come in here one day
done that there,
and just been like pulling deadlifts.
I mean, that'd be crazy.
My Chemical Romance just blasting. I know people are gonna give me shit because I know they're not goth, they're emo, but whatever.
Emo is allowed here.
They also do fucking slap. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw My Chemical Romance at the Metro.
Oh, dude,
you did?
Taking Back Sunday. When I was like, I think this was like 19.
Which album were they on?
It was their first full length.
Oh shit!
And I remember I bought a black shirt. Yeah, it was like a moon and a wolf or something like that, and it said My Chemical Romance, New Jersey on the bottom.
So
of it.
good.
And that was before they were like a big band. You know?
Yeah, and I think that first album still.
So I won't even rip on them at all. That band's fucking awesome.
No, I can't.
No, they're good.
Like they slap.
Yeah, Crunch definitely, I would say, had an effect on me, whether I realized it or not. And then, you know, eventually that spot, the original Rockwell spot, kind of outgrew itself for a lot of reasons. And eventually it needed to have its own actual, like this place. It needed to be a real place where public, any person could walk in and like, for a lot of reasons.
There's so many reasons.
But when that happened, I told Matt, I said, hey, listen, like this little dungeon, this weird little thing is going to turn into something more. And, you know, if you want to go with, like, you should, because I'm going to leave, you know. And me and Matt already had this bond there where, like, you know, when people weren't around, we would turn the music up louder. You know, we would put on a shittier radio station, like something metal crossover.
Yeah.
So it was already kind of beginning. It was festering when all that was going on. And, you know, when Matt came over here with me, you know, he was the only trainer that was here originally, and then other people started to come after that, and it started building. But that was in 2015 when this spot started, and then basically, Matt's just been there ever since, and we've just.
My God, you're such a best friend.
We're like, we're like brothers. We're literally best friends.
Brothers, two brothers. Yeah, dude.
He's literally like my brother.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
That was very cool.
That is one of my favorite places about coming, or one of my favorite things about coming here, though, is that most of the time I don't know the music that's on, or a lot of the times I don't know the music that's on, and like neither me nor basically anyone has their headphones on.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I learn new bands here, and I'm like, I don't know, man. The music's kind of sick. The vibes are good.
I think morning people don't wear headphones. I think night people wear headphones.
Oh, really? That makes sense. Yeah.
And it depends on how busy it is. If the gym's not busy, I will not wear my headphones because I can work out and get my workout done.
Right.
But if the gym's really, really, really busy, I'll wear them because I actually can't work out.
Yeah, because it's too many people.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's because you guys like actually lift really heavy though, and you gotta like lock in. I'm still at the point where I can just kind of like dick around a little bit and just kind of.
You're doing some real shit, though, man.
I'm getting there for real.
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't downplay myself too much.
See that coming in?
What you call it, your rhombus?
My rhrombus, my pectoral.
Is that your calf muscle?
Yeah. My hexagons are coming in real nice. They're popping out.
But no, that's one of the things that I like about you a lot is that, and this is something I probably haven't told you, but, you know, like we've trained together long enough now where, you know, when I train you in the morning, you know, I might be in a good mood, I might be in a bad mood. I might, you know, be sad about something or frustrated or whatever. Like, so what's cool though is that when you show up, most of the time you'll walk in and no matter what's on the radio, it doesn't matter if it's like death metal, rap, rock, like house, whatever, you'll walk in and you just like start listening and start bobbing your head and you're like taking your jacket off and you're like, what's up, man? And it's like you're so easygoing, and it just resets me a lot, to be honest, and it resets the gym too, because like especially the main people of the gym who have been here for a long time, it's like anywhere else. If we're fucked up, we're not in the right headspace, something's going on with us. It affects the whole gym and our clients and everyone else. So when people like you come through the doors, it really is like the best possible thing for us and everyone else around us. So I'm so grateful for that. And that's what made me think about it when you're like, like whatever's on, I just like learning about new music, listening to different songs, bands, whatever. And it's so refreshing, man, because I wouldn't say that is a very super common thing with a lot of people.
You know, I'm trying to like pinpoint because it's so weird to hear myself being called easygoing.
That's really awesome.
But it's,
I mean, you're always in a good mood when I see you.
I guess I am.
Hi, man.
You don't realize that you are.
Well, I think one of the things that really helped reset my mind was, have you ever heard like Taoism?
Yeah.
Any of that?
I have, but I'm not super familiar.
It's like this ancient Chinese philosophy with this guy who's just like, everything's okay, brother. That's basically it. Like everything's just the way it is. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But he's got this concept called like the Wu Wei, which is I think that's what it is, but it's the beginner's mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking at everything like a beginner, like or like a baby does. You know, when a baby sees something for the first time, it's just like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
Whoa, here's something for the first time. Does that?
Yeah,
and I think,
reminder, right?
well, the way that it's like written, there's a lot of translations from it. Obviously because it was written in Chinese, so like a lot of people have translated it into English. But like, I don't know, the idea of like, every day is an opportunity to learn something new. And every time you're doing something, even if you've done it for a long time, like sometimes just approaching it like a beginner with that same kind of curiosity, with that same kind of, this is I've never done this way on this day before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think kind of helped me just like chillax a little bit and just kind of, because it's fun, you know, like I think you can get so caught up in levels of like your losses or your gains or the shifting of every day and the shifting of everything that you forget that like the shifting is what's constant, right? Does that make sense? Or am I getting a little too hippie?
No,
like, not at all. Because like,
I like that.
Even like an ebb and flow is on a straight line.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
if
all.
you look at it long enough. But if you're looking at it in the short, you know, it looks like your ebb. It's like, you know, 300 feet to the left.
Yeah,
and the line you want to be on is right here. But in reality, like if you stay around, you know, I mean, it's gonna straighten out.
Yeah, and you look at like the longer. Like day to day can be like really mundane and really sort of monotonous and it feels like meaningless. But every time you look at the full scope,
there's shifting going on.
There's a whole shifting. Like if you, and that's anybody.
But that's life like, too. It's just shifting all the time. It's like
you could sit around and do like literally
the stock
nothing.
Market.
Yeah, it's the stock market.
Dude, like you know, I'm no like, you know, trader or anything, you know, like I'm definitely not a pro at it, but I have a huge interest in it, and it is fun for me if I have downtime to just pull up stocks and look at
it. Buddy, that's how they get you. They gonna take all your money.
But no, just like pull up. You like if you look at the max. 5 year. 1 year.
That's great.
6 months. Year to date. 5 days and 1 day.
Yeah.
You learn so much about how things can go.
Yeah.
Even on the scale of like, you know, you look at like the hot stock today, right? And that's what's like on Instagram. It's like tick stocks. Like, this is the one I would buy. I would put all my money into this. It's gonna go crazy. And then, you know, you look
dolphin coin.
Yeah.
Buy dolphin coin. Please, everyone.
Is that a real thing?
No, I don't. It probably is, Matt. It probably is, but there's just like.
But yeah, you know, if you look,
you call them shit coins.
They are basically.
I'm just saying it like it is. Know? But like, you know, if you look at what's hot like right now, and then you look at the history of it, you're like, dude, that's like a horrible stock to get into. Like, it might be really sick right now this week, but then on the flip side, you look at other stocks where like it's in the news, right? And someone's saying, oh, this stock's eating shit because their CEO did something, or there's a bad decision, or China did something that made this stock here not worth as much today, right? But
hey, shout out China, baby. Good job, China. Keep it up.
they're fucking getting aggro right now. But like, you know, like if you look back from a year out, stock that everyone's shitting on, that everyone's telling you to sell and run away from and not get into, is actually, it's doing okay.
That stock is you.
That's my.
We are that stock, right?
No,
everyone's telling you shit on it. They're eating shit. Stay away.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're just slowly.
Exactly. You know,
I try to say when I'm training people, and they're, you know, how a lot of like strength clients will get very like number chasey.
Yeah.
I try to say, like strength progression is kind of like the stock market.
Yeah.
It's never going to go straight up without any like peaks and valleys.
Yeah, 100%.
And then they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like it's like a gray area. There's no black and white to it.
Yeah.
Because like if that was the case, I'd be deadlifting and squatting 1,000 pounds right now.
Yeah. Going
at my age, I just would be insane. You know what I mean?
That, I guess Taoism does. I forget how much it influenced me, because it immediately comes to mind is this idea of like, get into the practice of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like the process is what's more important.
Yeah.
There's this line in it that's like, weaken your ambition, but strengthen your resolve. It's kind of sick, right?
Yeah.
That old Chinese man knew who he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? When he was writing back in the day.
And Tao was a smart
he was writing that shit. But like, I think.
Just imagine it with this giant pen. Like, I don't know why.
It was a feather pen.
It was a feather pen for sure.
And an inkwell.
For sure a feather pen.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, but like that.
The inkwell.
Yeah, just kind of like fall in love. I know some of these idioms are like cringe, but they're true. You know, fall in love with the process of things. I think that's.
I agree.
You could apply that to so much.
Yeah, and the ambition thing is like fleeting. And sometimes temporary. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. Obviously, it allows you to do great things.
Yeah.
But if that's your end all be all and that's what your every day is, like I think I've said it on this podcast like a million times, but in jiu-jitsu, there's a saying, it's not who's good, it's who's left. And basically,
I like that too.
Yeah, it's sick, right? And it's true. And I've literally seen it. I started training jiu-jitsu like, not super seriously, but like probably in like 2013, 14, right? Just kind of fucking around for a couple of years. And I've seen probably like, I don't know, man, like maybe 50 to 70 white belts that I don't think train anymore. I've probably seen like maybe 10 to 15 blue belts that don't train anymore. I've even seen purple belts, which is very hard to get a purple belt. It's like the percentage to get a purple belt is like so low. It's like, it's a 0.000 number.
Is it really that low?
Yeah, I'll look it up here in a second because I have to Google it to figure it out. But
Damn.
But like, I've even seen those people not make it, and not very many, but a handful, and so the people that I see that actually get somewhere or get good with it are the people that just keep doing it. It's not the people that like that they started training and were like the phenom black belt in like 4 years, because that happens. But it's
super rare, right? It's super rare.
Yeah, like,
and those guys are kind of like born like already doing an arm bar. As soon as they get out, the doctor like holds them and they're like,
yeah, I'll look this up. See, it says 3 to 5% of people who start training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu make it to purple.
That's so low.
That's really low.
Yeah. And it says 10% of white belts make it to blue belt.
10%? Huge cutoff then.
So 10% of all the people who start make it to blue, which is a very low number.
Yeah. It's low too. It's 1
and 5% of those blue belts progress to purple.
Only 5? Oh, damn. So it just keeps.
Yeah. So I guess.
So that is like a point whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then generally, if you make it to purple, it's pretty unheard of people to get to purple and then not make it to brown, not make it to black, because you sort of got to the point where it's just stupid to turn around.
Yeah.
Already been through so much that you're committed to the point where like, what would you do with yourself if you stopped? Like, and you're so immersed into the community of people, like you're so ingrained and like, sewn in that it just like, you're a part of the fabric essentially. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to make it over that hump. But yeah, but I like your point about that saying, like, I feel like it's so relevant to everything. And I did want to get back to you being an attorney too, because you said that you were a contract attorney, right? Doing like.
Yeah. So like, I was a commercial litigator. So, which means like a lot of that is like interpreting contracts and enforcing. Usually people fighting over money as to whether or not they have to pay you under a certain contract or what the terms of the contract say or who owes who money is what it usually is.
In the business sense?
Like, in the business sense.
Like if the business profits or doesn't profit or.
Right. So like, if we have like a distribution agreement between me and I like am a manufacturer or something, you're supposed to distribute it and something happens where it's not distributed and my company's losing money, we have some kind of like battle between us in court as to, okay, you owe us this much money under the contract because you did not distribute our product properly, which resulted in losses or blah, blah, blah.
I see.
Really interesting stuff. But I will say,
I think it is kind of.
Some of it is. You could definitely get
after a while it gets fucking.
You can nitpick a lot.
Like, nah.
You just get really nitpicky, I'll say, because it's all,
it's all just writing documents.
It's all like writing.
And analyzing what's written in the document.
100%, yeah.
Well, it gets super weird, right? Because like, it could seem as clear as day. And then you don't realize people, I'm not saying you, but people don't realize how many holes are in every single like paragraph or sentence or
bullet
word,
point, whatever.
Absolutely,
and it's so brutal because like you could spend so much time on that and still not realize that you have a risk here or an opening there, or like someone has an out even though they did something incorrect, like because of how it was put together.
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands and thousands of cases litigated over the positioning of a comma in a contract.
That's silly.
You would think. But
that's someone's salary, man.
But that's the thing. When there's like a whole bunch of money on the line.
Different.
I mean,
commas and money are different.
Yeah. It's all about those commas and zeros and decimals.
About them commas.
Commas on commas.
Commas on commas on commas. On commas.
Shout out.
Fuck up some commas. Yeah. Future, you look, if one fuck boy got to make it, I'm glad it's him. Honestly.
Wow.
Every time Mask Off comes on, I'm just like, Percocet. Molly Percocet. So.
Every time I sing that song, I'm like, I don't do Molly or Percocet, but
I don't
it
know.
sounds
That
tight.
sounds good.
It sounds tight.
Why does it sound like such a good thing? Like just to
I
melt,
know,
just to
right?
melt your fucking brain.
Right?
So motivating.
I've never been so pumped up by a flute in my life when that shit comes on.
By a flute?
Yeah, by a flute, because it comes with that woo, woo, woo.
I didn't realize that's what it
Percocet.
was.
Molly Percocet.
Dude, I'm crying.
Yeah, it's
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. But like, yeah. Yeah. The other thing with like when you're talking about like corporate contracts and stuff like that is if there's enough money on the line or if the issue is strong enough, they'll make an issue out of the contract language, even if it's clear as day, right?
Yeah.
Then you try to reinterpret it in a way or try to come up with some kind of different, I guess, way of looking at it that creates an issue that can maybe lead you to some kind of settlement or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, it's always like fighting over money is what I was doing before.
Makes sense.
And a lot of the times there's corporation to corporation.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want to do crimes.
What made you,
That's
had
cool.
you been thinking about that for a long time, or was it something that just kind of snuck up on you quick and made you make an aggressive switch? Because
a little bit of both.
I didn't even know you that long before you had switched over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you had switched over, like, anytime there's a change, you worry that the change can be good or bad for the person, right?
Right.
No matter what. So when you told me you were switching, I was like, shit, man, I hope that's a good switch for him, Not that I was doubting anything, but you just don't know, And,
I was doubting. I was doubting for sure because like, pay's not bad being a public defender, but it was a significant pay cut.
Yeah.
I was on track to potentially become a partner at some firm. I may have had to move to Ohio to keep working with the firm that I was working with.
Who wants to live there?
That's the issue.
Yeah.
They're trying to push me to go Columbus, Ohio, and I was like,
Well, Columbus
is okay, but it's like come on, man, I live in Chicago.
Yeah.
The hell, I'm not
Ohio
going to
people
Columbus.
are fucking sick though.
They are
some
sick.
Of the coolest people.
Ohio people
I wouldn't want to
who
live
you
there.
meet
people are
outside
cool,
of Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
if they're outside of Ohio but from Ohio, sick as fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're still in Ohio, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, it could be a mixed bag with that. But if I've met you outside of Ohio, you're one of the coolest people.
100%.
Yeah,
50.
If I've met you outside of Ohio, you're one of the coolest. But yeah, a couple of things happened. There was COVID.
Yeah.
I had finished paying off my student loans, and I just kind of realized that I was only ever doing that for money.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good realization.
Money's cool. Having money, balling out, sick, right?
Yeah,
mask
cool.
off.
Play that
Okay, mask off. Yeah, play that flute up. I'm up there with the flute. Just throwing bills. I hired the flutist. I hired the flautist next to me while I'm just throwing stacks of paper.
But then you're like, my job's boring.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm sad. I'm not fulfilled in my job really because like and it's not for everybody. Being a lawyer can already be kind of wonky. It's a lot more academic than I thought it was going to be. Let me say that. It's kind of like you graduate law school and you're like, I'm done with school. But you're nope. You got to read all the time and you got to understand cases and you got to it is a very academic profession in some sense.
It's strange because I wouldn't imagine it to be similar to being like a professor.
Kind of is,
when you're a professor, from the ones I've been around, and it just seems like you never get out of school, right? You're always you're reading people's information and you're trying to learn new information so you can teach new information.
Yep.
You have to keep certifying yourself to stay with, how your subject is progressing or whatever. But I didn't really think about it that when an attorney, you have to do the same thing to stay with it and to stay
exactly the same thing. Yeah.
You have to research your clients, you have to research the cases.
Yeah, you got to keep up
you
with
probably don't
case
get
law.
You probably don't get all the information right there too. You have to
you got to do digging. You got to do some digging. And there's a long history of case law and figuring out which is still good, which is bad. Changes in the law are happening all the time. Even little things you wouldn't even think about all the time, and both federally and within the state and within new laws that are being written. You got to keep up with all of that because honestly, your job is to advise people as to all the stuff that they don't want to read.
Yeah.
That's really what especially being a corporate attorney, that's what a lot of that is. It's like advising people. I think the reason I get paid so much is a lot of that shit is so boring and so like hard to like interpret. It's not very intuitive a lot of the times. So it becomes more economical for them to farm that out to like people to just be like public intellectuals to figure it out for them and then make sure that their company's not going to get sued or that their rights are protected or whatever. But yeah, and it's a lot of writing, man. When you're doing that, I was writing all the time. But now when I went to the public defender's office, it's kind of like going from being a sniper to being a cowboy. It's a lot of more shooting from the hip. You're in court a lot more. The cases are simpler in some ways. Like the law that applies is kind of simpler a lot of the time. But there's a lot of, it's just more exciting. The facts are more exciting. And the other thing that you realize, man, what I realized is that we have rights in this country, or we're supposed to have rights, at least. Still for now, I guess. We still have some rights. We'll see where that goes. There's a difference between like having rights and being in an economical position to where you can enforce your rights. A lot of like, if you got money, you got rights. You can afford an attorney. You can do all the work behind the scenes that needs to be done, or pay all the people to do the work behind the scenes that needs to be done to protect your rights. The clients I have now do not have those funds. So there's a lot of the times where they shouldn't have been picked up by the police. That happens all the time. They shouldn't have been arrested. They shouldn't be charged with something. They're innocent. All these things happen, but if they don't have a good attorney or if they don't have the ability to pay someone, they're in a real precarious position.
Even if the police were in the wrong in their initial like
That's
whatever
crazy.
it was,
Absolutely,
they don't have the money to deal with it properly, then they can be in harm's way
100%
because of the financial aspect of it.
Well, 100%, because here's the thing. It's when you get arrested, right? There's a couple of things. We don't have cash bail anymore in Illinois. We're the first state to eliminate it. So that's been kind of a big deal. There's some bumps with that. But overall, it's a much better system because like before, if you get arrested and you can't even post bail, then you're just in there, right? There's not even an opportunity for you to get out unless you can come up with the money to post the bail. So that's the first economic barrier when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
That one's gone now, but now they have this. When you're arrested, if you're held, what is it, like 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck or something like that? Now we're talking about the poorest of the poor. People who might not even have jobs. A week in jail, a week without being able to make any kind of income for your family, for people you are providing for your bills, rent, your phone, all these things, it can cascade into disaster. And that's just a week. Now you're being held a month. Now you're being held 2 months, 6, a year, 2, all while trying to prove a case that you shouldn't have been stopped in the first place. Here's what happens a lot of times. If they don't get an attorney quick enough, or if they get an attorney who doesn't care, or the court is not quick enough in appointing people, they'll just cop out, say they're guilty, just to get out, because the offer would be something like, okay, you get 10 more days and we'll put a felony charge on you. You'll plead guilty and then we'll put you on a year of probation.
10 more days like in jail?
Yeah, they'll do like different
So it's
pleas.
It's like an agreement of types.
Kind of, but like so many people plead guilty just to get out of jail because their entire life is going to fall apart unless they do that.
See, that's something that isn't common knowledge for people. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of silly for saying that, but I feel like that's not something that
I didn't know.
Most people are in the know of.
Yeah, I think there's a conspiracy to keep people ignorant of that fact because it would cause us to have a lot of questions about our criminal justice system and how it works. I'm being honest about that.
Sure.
I think if people realized how many people have like a felony on their record, just not because they were guilty too, but because they had to get out.
Yeah.
And their lives are going to fall apart unless they pled guilty to what is usually just like a gun or a drug possession case. And I mean, we're talking even like cannabis. I still today have clients who their charge is possession of cannabis. And I'm like, how, bro?
That's so crazy to me. And it's just
That is
because they didn't go
crazy.
through the correct channels.
Yep.
Of like in the way the state, what the feds view, there's a channel to obtain cannabis.
You want to hear one of the stupidest fucking laws
Of course.
that we have here? So, you're pulled over. Officer comes up, license and registration, all that normal stuff, right? He sniffs, he smells something. Oh, I smell cannabis in your car. Can you please get out of the vehicle? First of all, don't consent to a search. If he always obey their commands, officer commands, but like don't consent to a search. You don't have to under any circumstances. Never say you can search my shit. Just generally, but smells cannabis, finds a Ziploc bag with some green cannabis in it, right? You're arrested. Why? Because you're in possession of cannabis and it didn't come from one of the approved dispensaries, right? Because it's a Ziploc bag. It's not in a
finely marketed,
right?
like super marketed glass jar.
Yeah, exactly. It's not corporate enough.
Yeah,
for this.
it wasn't from the Breath of Fresh Air dispensary on fucking, whatever street in a nice neighborhood, where
right,
roll up and just buy drugs.
So, but you have a Fourth Amendment right against searches and seizures, right?
Okay.
People are not supposed to be able to search, or the police, the government's not be able to search your car
without a warrant, correct?
Your house without a warrant, exactly.
Okay.
So, case goes up. We file something called a motion to suppress. Quash arrest and suppress evidence, basically meaning, hey, you didn't have a basis to even conduct this search to begin with because it was illegal. It was an unconstitutional search. My client, that means you only got my client arrested from what they call the fruits of the poisonous tree. Like you found evidence that you shouldn't have found because your search was illegal. Okay, we could file that motion. It goes and it's, the court has to hear it. Originally, there's a case where the officer smelled the cannabis. They're like, no, that should be a motion to suppress. That arrest is quashed. Your case is thrown out. But you could be sitting in custody until that point, too. So keep that in mind. The client could also be behind bars up until this point.
How long could that be?
It could be a long time. It could be, technically, it can be like, unless you demand trial, there's not really a limit as to how long it can be. But for a case like that, it's not going to be like, it shouldn't be that long.
Yeah.
But here's the stupid law. The stupid law is that if an officer comes up to your car and smells cannabis, if it's fresh cannabis, they can search your car. If it's burnt cannabis, they can't search your car.
Interesting.
And why is that? Because burnt cannabis, you can't tell the source of where it came from. If it's smoked already, if they say they smell burnt cannabis, well, you could have gotten that from a legal dispensary and smoked legal weed. So you're not doing anything technically illegal yet in the car.
Yeah.
Right? Or wherever you're at. But if it's burnt cannabis or if it's fresh cannabis, well, the only approved legal weed has to be an odor-proof packaging. So if I could smell fresh cannabis, that means you must have a legal weed on you.
So it's based on the smell. So
if you
can smell it, it's illegal.
If you can smell fresh cannabis, fresh, unburnt cannabis, if you want to say.
But if you can't smell it.
If you can't smell it, there's no basis either way.
Yeah.
But if it's burnt cannabis, if they smell like, smells like someone was smoking a doobie in there, then they can't search.
It seems so ass backwards because
it is
for so long. Right? For so long, it was just straight up illegal.
Yeah.
And then now it's partially legal.
Yeah.
And really, it's only partially legal because there's a financial benefit. Like, the tax area.
Yep.
In the business front. So there's people that are there. There's people even in Chicago that are involved with dispensary businesses that are, what's the best way to put it, to like blanket it, that, have other interests. I'll just put it that way, that they're not just business people in cannabis.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Whether it's people in charge or whether it's people who have been involved in the justice system, things like that, and this is the thing I've just read in articles, I've read, out there, and it exists, so that's the irony behind it, is that it's more just like, hey, you're going to do it our way. If we don't have a hand in it, then it's illegal. It's like that to me doesn't check out.
Oh, it doesn't. And when you think about, again, the example of like people who have money versus people who don't, going to dispensaries in Illinois, if you know anything about it, they're expensive, right?
I would imagine.
Way more expensive.
You got to look at the buildings they're in.
Lawrence, I don't have to imagine. I know that the dispensaries in Illinois are expensive, right? Compared to the dispensaries or
in Michigan, yes.
In Michigan or anywhere else.
So taxes.
Yeah, the taxes and everything.
So if you have a medical card, the taxes don't apply. So you could get a medical card from a doctor. Well, yes, it's the taxes are like an eighth of what they normally are.
Okay.
So a lot of people will get, there's shady doctors that you could get like a medical card from.
Yep.
And then when you go to the dispensary, you're not paying the taxes.
Gotcha.
But say you can't pay the dispensary price. Where do you go? You go to your local guy down the street.
Exactly.
And you're both doing the same thing. You're both buying weed, ingesting it. You're trying,
it's like running or walking to the same place.
Exactly. But like they're saying the walking is illegal, but the running's not.
Yes, which is very strange.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's like, it clogs up the prisons and like the jails and everything now. So now, we got a bunch of people in here.
It probably also clogs up the whole justice system where there's just case after case after case after case after case after case.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even be there in the first place.
Makes it harder then for, like, if you have a public defender, someone's got to handle those cases. So now I have case after case after case after case after case of bullshit.
Yeah.
Which you get really good at, like scooping the bullshit and throwing it out. But like at the same time, it's like my time, time is what lawyers kind of sell too. Because a lot of what we have to do is we have to brute force our way through laws, right? Through like case law, we got to read all that. We got to read statutes. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's why they charge you by the hour. That's why they do all this.
Yeah.
And every case that's kind of like this ticky-tacky bullshit takes away time from something where I really got to lock in.
Yep.
And that makes it harder too for someone who, wants to make sure they're actually being represented. Makes it harder to catch stuff. So I don't know. There's a class war going on. I hope it's not too controversial, but
no, it's great. I mean, this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about all this stuff, because I have a growing interest in sort of like, how our city functions or doesn't function. When I first lived here, say like 5 years or even 10 years, the interest wasn't as high because, I was just like, caught up in getting my own thing started, or like just making sure I could stay here and not have to move home, like that kind of shit. But after you've been here for a while, and I'm sure you would agree, and you've lived here forever too now, it's like you start to sort of view, or now I definitely do, but I view Chicago being like my home.
Yeah.
It's not my home, but it's my home.
Yeah.
I've lived here longer than I've lived where I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me,
sense,
it's like, this is home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you start to wonder about the way things work, right?
Yeah.
And we live in, for lack of better words, a really interesting city as far as how things function. And I think the point I'm going to make is like as old as time, but like I've said it on here before, and I've said it to my friends and like Katie and just private discussions, but I do not like the fact that if we're sitting in Lakeview right now, right? You go anywhere in Lakeview and it's generally a certain way, right? And you drive 2 miles to Garfield Park, right? Or you drive 3 miles to the far south side or whatever. It looks like a different country. It looks, and I don't mean that in a way that it makes me uncomfortable, because I'm one of the people that like, I will go to different neighborhoods and hang out, get food, look at architecture. Like I don't just like keep myself in this bubble on the north side.
Right.
But because of that, I noticed that it just, there's these things that are going on that allow that to continue to be a thing, right? And I'm not saying it because it's an eyesore. I'm not saying like, oh, I don't like that.
Right.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
I don't like the fact that we all live in the same city and it is so vastly different and people are treated differently. And also these areas of town that people like, they kind of talk the game like they give a shit about it, like everyone's like, oh, everything needs to be fair for everyone, right? But like no one really wants to get in the nitty gritty of what's going on. No one wants to ask any questions about it.
Yeah.
Find out, and I think you being a public defender is sort of like it's an angle for me and other people to like try to figure out like what is actually happening and like why these like cycles keep repeating themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Man. Yeah.
And so like that was like my main reason to be like, I want to get into this a little bit, figure out like what's happening on the ground level, like, and I would assume, that a lot of these people that are getting into these situations, whether it's decisions they're making or whether it's decisions that other people are making for them after the fact, are probably not as prevalent, like in say Lakeview or Lincoln Park versus other areas in the city. Is that correct?
100%. And a lot of it is,
it's like the class segregation.
It's the class segregation.
And like, I feel like the city, like as long as I've lived here, like sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it's still very segregated.
It is. Yeah.
I've noticed very little change since
and
2007. I mean, maybe some.
Like Logan Square has gentrified.
Right.
When I moved to Logan Square, it was not the best neighborhood. And this is when I was 28, so almost 20 years.
Yeah, it's definitely changed.
It's changed, but like it takes a very long time for these neighborhoods to like shift.
Yeah.
But then even still, it's like right next to me is Humboldt Park.
Yep.
And I'm in Logan Square. If I go south of North Avenue, I see cops everywhere.
Yep. That's the thing. So that's a big part of it is where are the police choosing to police, right? If you're over-policing certain neighborhoods versus under-policing others, well, then you're going to catch more of all these like dumb things, the possession of a controlled substance.
Marijuana in a bag.
Yeah, marijuana in a bag cases. A lot of those are going to be from these neighborhoods that they're over-policing. So the Garfield Parks, the Humboldt Park, although Humboldt Park is probably next on the gentrification list, dude.
Yeah,
that's been changing a lot as well.
Yeah.
And there are some things that are going down that are like good, they are moving different amounts of affordable housing into different neighborhoods and kind of just trying to
that's good. That's
integrate it more. And that ends up being like better because like a lot of the times like it doesn't have any effect. Like crime rates do not go up or any of that stuff like people are always afraid of. They don't go up and it just ends up being like go figure if you integrate people together, they'll like figure it out, especially in this city.
Well, it's like what I was saying earlier when I first moved here. I was like, I just wanted to be around other people that knew more than I did, or they give me an opportunity, or the networking aspect, or just like, if you're around people that are doing things, like you end up doing shit too, you just get caught up in it.
Hell yeah.
People aren't going to be able to have that chance unless we're all blended together. And,
right.
I mean, it's like, how could they?
Yeah.
And there was like one thing that you brought up earlier that we were talking about, like, people getting picked up for things, right? That like you were saying, like that are kind of silly or that are kind of like they shouldn't have gotten stopped or whatever. So what kind of things happen to people, like, whether they have a hand in it or not, but like what kind of things happen to people regularly that like, you'll get a phone call about that you need to represent someone that, like they got caught up or something, or they might get a charge for something that, that they shouldn't be charged with. Because it seems like a commonality that I hear from you, because I talk to you every week, and you're like, oh, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that.
Yep.
I just want to know, like, what kind of things you're seeing as a public defender that people aren't aware of that are happening out there, like that you have to help people keep safe from, and
sure,
and all that.
The three biggest ones, as far as like people getting that I've experienced so far, of people getting like arrested when they shouldn't have gotten arrested, are drugs, guns, and then domestic calls. And I think I have enough experience now to kind of know why that is.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs and guns are basically the same reasons, because police will either be watching someone on what's called a pod video camera. I don't know if y'all know this, but basically every intersection or most of the intersections in the city have cameras.
Yeah.
There's a little guy. I don't know if he's a little guy, but there's some guy.
It's easier to call him a little guy.
Yeah, some little guy in like a tower somewhere in a police station who's zooming in on people with those cameras like all the time.
Yeah.
And they're tracking things. And if they see someone make what they call furtive movements, which it's a lot of code language that they know to put in a police report to try to justify an arrest.
Yeah.
They will send officers there. They'll pat them down real quick, and they'll find nothing. If they find nothing, I never hear about it. But if they find drugs or a gun, then they've been subject most of the time to an illegal search or seizure. And
yeah, that was going to be my question for you, is that because I don't know this, but what are our rights as far as if we're out in public and a police officer pulls up? What are our rights as a person just being out and about, getting searched or patted down, or like is there any gray area there, or is it pretty clear as day that like they can or they cannot, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if people know that. I don't. Like, I would tell a person that they're not able to search me. I don't know if that's true or not, but unless I did something, I would be like, no. You know, like,
do you want your rights practically or your rights technically?
Both.
Okay, so technically, you have the right against consenting to any illegal search or seizure of your person or of your vehicle or your private property, and your private property that you have with you, your backpack if you're wearing it, whatever. If you're in your house, they can't come in unless they have a warrant. The house is the one where it's the hardest for them to get in, so just don't invite them in.
Yeah.
If you're driving, don't say, if they're going to be like, you don't mind if I search the car? Yes, I do. I do mind if you search the car. I do not give you permission to search my car. Police can technically do a couple of different things. I mean, technically, you have the right to run away from police before, like if you just see them, you can run. That's not a crime. That's not illegal, but that may give them suspicion to stop you. They have the ability to do this thing. It's called a Terry stop. So if they have some kind of initial questioning that they want to do regarding some kind of investigation that they want to make, if they think, I don't know, maybe you're doing something illegal, maybe they think you're a potential suspect in something, they can stop you, ask you for your name, your information, do some investigation there. During that Terry stop, you are not detained, right? That means you're free to go. You can tell them, am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained or am I free to go? They have to let you go if you're not being detained. Once you're detained, that's when they have some kind of reasonable articulable suspicion for some kind of actual offense. That's when they're either going to detain you for. It's basically when they're arresting you. Right? There's certain situations where they can detain you pending an investigation and then let you go, so you're not yet arrested. But once they detain you, they could do a couple other things.
Gotcha.
Which is they can search your person at that point if they're arresting you. That's just a search incident. They call it a search incident to arrest. Doesn't mean that if they find anything illegal on you that's going to be allowed or in court, but like it changes your rights a little bit. Once you're detained, they can kind of take you. The other thing with a Terry stop is that if they have some kind of suspicion that you have a weapon on you, they can do what's called a Terry pat for safety, which is this thing where they do go across your body like a TSA agent or whatever. And if they find they're only allowed to do that to search for weapons. Again, if they find something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are that down the line it's going to be considered a legal search. So don't admit to anything that you ever have on you. You don't have to talk to them. If they find a weapon, don't say something like, "Oh, it was just for protection, bro," or something like that. Don't say anything. Nothing you say is going to help you out to in that situation. Just call your attorney as soon as you can. Or call the public defender's office. We have a hotline that you can call, which will show up at the jail and help you out there. So basically, your big rights are you don't have to answer questions as far as once you're under investigation. I mean, technically, I guess I don't even know if you have to give them your name, but whatever. It's I guess you could say your name. Maybe
see the Instagram video of that guy recently that he wouldn't give the police his name, and he didn't have an ID or whatever, and they were trying to use this facial recognition thing that they.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but they had a facial recognition thing where they're trying to take a picture of him, and then they take the picture and I think they compare it to IDs and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
I hate that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? But he kept making noises and funny faces, and he kept tilting his head back and rotating his head so that the camera couldn't get his picture. And they had like 6 people with this dude to try to get him to like take the picture.
Damn, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Could not ID the guy.
Yeah.
That is so clever because he like kind of abandoned all like, you know, like he wasn't trying to play it cool, and he was looking really like ridiculous on camera because they were it's like on the body camera or whatever.
Right.
But he didn't give a shit. Like he was just like, these people are not IDing me. And I think eventually they probably got his ID somehow, but it was pretty comical watching them like just try every avenue they could to ID this dude, and they couldn't do it.
That's
no matter
funny.
what. He was just freaking out, and they kept trying to get him to keep his head straight, and he kept just like.
That sounds like a violation too. Like you can't do that. Like what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely sketchy for sure.
That's a time where you say, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?"
Yeah,
that's when you say that, and this to walk away. Honestly,
I think they had him I think he was on a stretcher or something. Like it was some kind of situation or whatever. Like I think he was already like.
Okay, so he was the answer.
But it was very funny that he was just not having it, you know.
Just moving his head all around. Like, you can't give me...
keep your head on an axis if you get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and so, like, I'm assuming that you feel like it's been much more rewarding being in this area of, like, law now that you've switched over.
For sure.
And, you know, and you seem pretty excited about it. Like,
it's so fun, dude.
It's so different. It seems like every time I talk to you,
yeah,
you're in a different situation, different case.
Well, I mean, the pace is so quick. The cases are super interesting, and there's a lot of hijinks too. And I'm a big fan of hijinks, honestly.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like, you know, like the con artist guy I told you about, who we don't know his name, and and we thought 2 prostitutes met each other in the middle of the night, and when the bill came due, they pointed fingers at each other, and our guy got arrested, and then he disappears off the face of the planet, and we've never seen him again. And he's got like some rush. He told me his name was like something real generic, like Adam Smith or John Wilson or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you see his other IDs. He's got some like wild Russian name that's like just Anatolovich Kalmiski, like some wild whatever, right? And he's just...
That's funny.
Completely gone. 4 or 5 IDs.
Aliases.
Yeah, aliases. Just
aliases.
I love it. And if you're my client and you con me so well that you just like disappear off the face of the earth, congratulations, man. Like you should be out there in the world.
He did your job for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have to litigate that case now because you're gone. He's fucked off to Canada or somewhere.
You just turn into someone else.
Yeah. Just has an entirely different face. Yeah.
Now you also do a little bit acting too, right? And and you do improv too.
I used to do more improv, but yeah.
Do you feel like that helps you a little bit with like some of the rest of your life, like and even maybe your career, like seeing some of the maybe like, you know, comedy or like the sad comedy aspect of like real life, you know? Do you think that helps you deal with people a little bit better? Like, you know, and being an actor, like I feel like that's kind of a weird blend where it's like, you know, you can maybe be a chameleon and put yourself in other people's shoes and how it kind of you know, relate to what's going on with them in that moment, you know, because that's what acting is.
100%, yeah.
And I'm just curious if you feel like that helps you as an attorney, you know, like see things as they are and kind of like, you know, allow people to like trust you a little bit more in a way that like if someone was extremely vanilla or very square,
for sure,
they may not be able to like really talk to you or like give you the information properly that you need to hear. And I feel like that's a really cool carryover.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick. I mean, the first thing I do when I meet a client is I'm like, take off your shoes. I want to stand in them. And I just get in them. I'm all cozy in there for a little bit.
That's cool.
And I'm like, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah. That's cool.
But it's like, you know, it's fun. Like it's it definitely helps with like any kind of like storytelling or just I don't know, like being able to convey information in a way that's entertaining to like a jury or in a way that like they can understand it.
Yeah.
I think some of the acting stuff definitely does help. And
I can see that.
It's just fun. I
It's
don't
a
know.
type of communication.
Yeah.
Even though we don't really see like acting as that, but it really is.
It's a lot of like, I think the thing with acting, I don't want to get too much into the process of acting or whatever, but like I think what you start to realize, or at least what I've started to realize the more I do it, is it's a way to convey like your real emotions about things in a like safe setting, in a setting that like you'll be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
So, you can, like good acting is just when you actually believe it. It's believable. It's like you can feel it.
Yeah.
And you could take, it's kind of like therapeutic in a way, because you just kind of, not saying you like bottle everything up inside and stuff like that, but like, like day-to-day life.
Yeah.
If I was just walking around the streets like crying all the time, people would be like, dude, what's wrong? What's going on?
You can't do that.
But when I do it on stage, people are like, he's brilliant. He's excellent,
Yeah, it's like it's like you get to kind of like express yourself a little bit and play into that.
Yeah.
Where it's all right, I didn't really think about it like that before.
No, it's not like that when at least I started to, because you're doing like the Wizard of Oz musical as like a child, and you're like 10, and you're in a winged monkey costume, just like screeching and jumping around, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expressing then.
Yeah.
But like, if I were to play a winged monkey today, I'd have some feelings.
Yeah,
I'd have some real feelings about the whole thing. I feel like,
I'm sure.
You'd feel it.
What was the one that you did recently?
Oh,
what? There was one like a month ago, or
yeah,
maybe 6 weeks
I did The Long Christmas Dinner, which is a Thornton Wilder play about like a family that buys a house, and then you just watch them at Christmas dinner through the course of like 90 years. So it's like different people are born, different die. It's cool. It's really trippy, yeah, dude. And the way he wrote it, there's a life portal on stage and a death portal. And so the characters, when they're born, they come in through the life portal, and whenever people die, they go in through the death portals.
That's cool.
So you start to see, like, while you're watching this show, and it's just a one-act play. It's like an hour, 10 minutes long, not that long. Yeah. You just start to see people get near to the death portal, and you're like, oh shit, oh no, and then they're gone. And then you just kind of see how the family grows and changes and the conflicts and stuff they have. But I thought it was great because you talk about like having perspective and going back to what we were talking about earlier about like the mundacity of like day to day and stuff. Like all this stuff slips away eventually, man. Like it's.
Oh yeah, do you gotta roll?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta go,
bounce
dude.
if you want.
All right.
Yeah, sorry,
okay.
I forgot. He has a person to train.
Oh, sick.
Do you want to stop that?
Nah, I'll just come holler here.
All right,
cool. Second.
Sorry.
See ya.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Talk about people.
I gotta go.
People who come and go. By the way, yeah.
Matt's going into the training portal.
Yeah, he's going into the training portal right now, dude. Yeah.
No, that made me think about something kind of cool though. Is like with the part about like the death portal or whatever. It's kind of funny. So like I'm 42 now, so it's not like I'm like that old, but like when you're 42, you think differently as opposed to 25.
For sure,
right?
For
and you start to see the other side of life, and then you like lose people along the way, right? Like you lose your grandparents, or a parent, or friends, or whatever. And like I'm sure it's happened to you too, but it's like it's very strange when you're in your late 30s or early 40s, you start to lose friends that
that sucks.
You always think about your friends or you passing away when you're like old.
Yeah.
So when you lose friends at a younger age, it starts to make you like view life differently.
Yeah.
In a good way and in a bad way too, right? But the death portal thing kind of made me think about something that like I pay attention to people a lot, whether they're my age or whether they're, 20 years older than me or very, very old. And I've been trying to like make decisions, whether it's like in the gym or the way I eat or even just my own mindset. And anytime I feel like I'm getting closer to that death portal by my decision making, I try to adjust the other way.
Yeah.
Where I pay attention to what people are doing. And I'm like, they seem really close to that.
Yeah.
And they may not need to be as close to that as they are. I'm not saying that I know for sure, but if I had to guess, there may be a few things that are allowing them to be closer to that than they should be.
Right.
They need to be. So I try to track what people are doing and then try to just stay a little bit farther away from that.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting way to write a play. It's also strange but kind of cool that the play is shorter for 90 years. Like, it seems like a challenge to fit that much time into an hour and something play.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be like a 3-day?
Oh, you think you think it'd be a whole thing, but I think the playing with that passage of time in that short amount of time is what is kind of brilliant about it, or what I really liked about it artistically, because it's and right around Christmas, to give that feeling of impermanence to people, and then when they're out of the play, it's like, but you still have time. It's kind of like A Christmas Carol,
Yeah.
when he's like, I could have done so much and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then surprise, he can, he can change, he can do things. So, it was cool. I mean, the way they and shout out to the whole crew and the artistic team for that play, because they were doing all these different light cues and sound cues to kind of indicate when there was a passage of time, indicate where it was another Christmas dinner, because it's just the table out there the whole time. And so you got to have some kind of cue to kind of trigger in the audience's mind.
Yeah, it's a lot of coordination, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And where was that at? And like what?
That's the Tuda Theater. They're the Utopian Theater Asylum is what they're called. And we did it at Bramble Arts Lofts. That's where we had the performances, but it's with Tuda Theater Company.
Where's that at?
They are in Ravenswood.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they're sick. I'm actually going to be there later today to do some other stuff. Yeah.
Oh, nice. You have something coming up? Are you guys working on something?
Maybe. Yeah, we're working on a couple of things. They're going to do Crime and Punishment next, which is going to be sick. And that's going to be coming up.
Is that a book or is that?
Yeah. I think it's an everything, but I think it started as a book.
All right.
Now it's a play, also a movie, probably based on the book.
Yeah.
So, I think is it Charles Dickens? I can't remember. No, not Charles Dickens. It's some Russian guy, right? Is it Chekhov? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know shit.
That's You're like, I'm going to do the acting for it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably stop there just because they're about ready to kickbox.